Welcome back to the Clubhouse, and for those of you just joining us, welcome to the Tribe. We are a group of FSU alumni obsessed with the culture, the gear, and the game of golf. From breaking down tour news to roasting our own weekend blow-ups, no topic is out of bounds. Grab a drink and settle in. This is the Tea Time Tribe. What a weekend of golf. The first major of the season, the 2026 Masters, is officially in the books. I'll be the first to say congratulations to Rory for winning his sixth major, second consecutive Masters. Truly remarkable. I think there's been talks now of throwing his name around for greatest golfer of all time. Certainly greatest European golfer of all time. But I also feel like I do have to thank him. If it weren't for him absolutely shitting the bed and blowing his record-setting 6-shot lead after 36 holes, his entire weekend would have been a snooze fest. So instead what we got was a stacked leaderboard on Sunday and a great finish. So thank you,
It
Rory.
could have been better. It could have been better.
It could have been a lot better if Rory had lost.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It could have been better. The charge from Scotty. The eventual collapse of Rose. Man, it could have been so much better. The charge of Hatton.
Before we get ahead of it, I want to give, speaking of congratulations, a little bit of maturity to Eric here for congratulating Rory, because the words he was using over the weekend were not congrats, Rory. So today, you've come a long way in the last 24 hours or so. So I just want to give you a little hat tip for that. So anyway, you were saying, Ian.
I appreciate that. I was actually telling Ian before you hopped on, before we started recording, that almost all of Rory's round on Saturday, I was just hammering bogey or worse every single hole on FanDuel for him.
Nice. It's growth with a lowercase g. We're not to the uppercase yet, but we're there. We're getting there.
Slow growth.
You know,
anyway, Ian, sorry to
funny.
cut you off.
It's a fair point. It's funny that the advice that Jack Nicklaus kept giving him. Do you guys remember what that advice was to Rory to win the Masters?
Something about don't make fucking double bogeys.
Don't make any fucking double bogeys. And guess what? This wouldn't have even been a problem if he hadn't made those double bogeys. He would still have a six shot lead right now. Like, what are you doing, man? What's going on? Why do this to yourself? Silence from the crowd. Wow.
The shot that he hit on 11 on Saturday, to me, was just a knucklehead move.
What are you doing? What are you doing going for that?
Well, he had 13 last year on Sunday, where he hits in the creek. He had all of God's greener to the left, and straight for the pin, and he hit fat. And then this year, it's going to happen. It's just
it wasn't much better this year.
It's inevitable though with him. I feel like now, where it's just like if he's in contention or not, it's going to happen on the weekend. He's just going to make a shot that you're just like, how is this possible? You're the best golfer in the world. Maybe right now. Like, how are you making these mistakes? We make these mistakes. You're not allowed to make these mistakes. You can make a mistake somewhere else, but not here.
The number 13 on Sunday, he drove it, 350 yards, and then proceeded to completely, he pulled the shit out of an 8-iron. Like, it should have been a chip shot for him to hit that green with an 8-iron, and he just completely airmailed the green right to where Cam Young was. Like, Cam Young was a solid 80 yards behind him. What are you doing, man? Why are you making this so much harder than it has to be? And all I heard the entire week was how McIlroy just has to keep reminding himself that he already has a green jacket. How much do you have to be in your own fucking head to have to continuously remind yourself that many times that, oh yeah, I play better, relax, but I need to remind myself I've already won a green jacket. Just don't worry about it, dude. You're a multi-millionaire. You already had 5 majors. Why are you so uptight?
I can guarantee Scotty Scheffler is not there every week going, well, I'm the number 1 player in the world, so I can relax. No, dude.
No. But he's But he also has a different mentality than Rory does, like a very different mentality in the fact that all he does, he thinks about his family and God, like that. Those are his two things, and those are his Bible, for lack of a better term. And his playbook gives him that freedom to just play very free golf. I don't think Rory has that. I don't think he has like a center that he can come back to center with. And I think that's what makes him such a chaotic player.
I mentioned last week how, it's Jordan Spieth, the roller coaster golfer, right? And we were going to hop off that roller coaster. Not bet him anymore because it's too much of this. That was Rory this weekend. I know a lot of people, obviously, but he was the ultimate roller coaster, right? Like, except that his were the first half, he was rolling, right? 12 under heading into the weekend, 6-stroke lead. That's, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the equivalent of like that's like a 21 or 28 point like football lead at the half, right? Like, if we're going to compare it to football, you've got a sizable lead,
and
obviously
Falcons.
Yeah,
this is
and obviously he needed every point, every stroke he could get. Obviously, as we saw heading into the weekend, but his roller coaster was an actual roller coaster this weekend. The driving stat. Did y'all see that? He was 90th in the field in driving accuracy heading into the weekend.
Yep.
The guy who was in 91st was in 91st place. And Rory was up by 6.
Yep.
It's like with Scotty with his putting. And Scotty's 90th in the field in strokes gained putting, and he's leading the tournament. But this was with Rory and driving. I mean, it was just probably the most preposterous stat I've ever seen in a major for someone who ended up winning it. Certainly. This is just his struggles off the box. But it was we talked about it last week too, that, the weather was going to be really good in terms of like sunny, pristine conditions, and the greens were firm the first couple of days. Holy hell. And then someone complained, as I mentioned, it may have been Zach Johnson, who's the ultimate, classic complainer. We saw after Friday's round, we saw the guys come out with the hoses and water down the greens to help out. It certainly helped. Scotty going 11 under on the weekend is banana land crazy. There were a lot of low scores Saturday and Sunday. People who and you mentioned Gary Woodland had a 66 yesterday, kind of out of nowhere. Victor Hovland had like a 65 or 66, I think, after not having great Saturdays. Mm-hmm. So there was, if you went back and you look, like I looked at like the top 20 guys who finished, T20 or better, obviously more than 20 golfers, but there are like 4 or 5 guys out of that entire group whose delta finish, between their best and their worst round was like 4 strokes or better. And everyone else was like, 6, 7, 8, up to 10. Even Rory. Rory had, his best round was a 65, his worst was a 73. So there was a lot of roller coaster play from everybody, even the top finishers, other than a few. So yeah, it was as you guys said, like it was exciting, but it was also like kind of a weird Masters because of just people just being all over the place. Some people kind of in contention late, but then, fading. Shout out Ludwig, guy hates Sundays, my God. We'll get into that later. But yeah, overall it ended up being, the meat of the day on Sunday. The leaderboard was packed, stroke or two here or there, a lot of people in play. Rose's 3-putt on 13 really just, that sucked all the momentum out of it for him. I mean, that putt breaking away from the creek, breaking left there at the end. I don't know if any caddy on tour would have guessed that break there. You would have needed a local guy in there to be like, hey man, trust me on this, it's going to break away from the creek. And then Scotty's on 17. That was another one where it's just like, it's a perfect putt. And then the last 6 inches, it just kind of dribbles off. And man, if only he had made that would have made it an even better finish. But yeah, he ran out of holes. And, Rory on 18, man. As soon as he pulled out driver, I was like, he really wants to make this interesting, doesn't he? And as someone said,
he sure does.
Someone on Twitter said, man, he hit it so far right, he could have been the governor of Oklahoma, where his ball ended up. And I was like, but it ended up being like he hit it so far right, he had a clear shot, back into the fairway, getting close to the green, so it didn't really matter. But again, he needed those 2 strokes on the last hole. That 1-stroke lead would have been like, like last year. It would have been certainly a lot of shades of last year's 72nd hole. But man, yeah, didn't have this on my bingo card that he would win this year. It's so rare to do it back to back. Got a lot of things going on the week of, being the defending champ, and to do it wire to wire too, just insane. And I don't know, maybe this is Rory's villain arc, right? Like he's suddenly becoming, he's a polarizing figure and now everyone's chasing him.
Yep. And this goes back to what we said last year in season 1. I remember us talking about this, of how he's going to go one of two ways. He's either going to go completely dark now that he made the Grand Slam, or he's just going to go on an absolute tear. And this could be the beginning of that absolute tear. I know my folks that don't watch golf, at least who I've talked to, they just think he complains a lot. That's the main sentiment that I've gotten from people who don't watch golf, is they just hear him, that what they hear in the mainstream is, yeah, he complains about this, he complains about that. It's this, it's that. It's all these excuses. But at the end of the day, he went back to back. So to Eric's point, I got to give the guy credit. My lovely wife asked me yesterday, she said, "Are you actually rooting for Rory to win?" I'm not rooting for him to win, but from a hardcore golf fan perspective, getting to see somebody win the Masters back to back, that's something, there's a possibility that we never see it again in our lifetime. Like the fact that we got to see it twice is unreal. Like how I do feel very fortunate, like to be in that slim slice of time that we got to see Tiger Woods with back to back, and we've now seen Rory go back to back, and Scotty almost did it as well. He was very close to going back to back. So yeah, I'm a fan of seeing golf history made. Would I potentially have rather seen Patrick Reed win over Rory if it wasn't back to back? Yeah, absolutely. I would have rather seen him win. And we have very strong stances on Patrick Reed in this group.
We do.
So that says a lot if you're a fan of the show. But yeah, I have a lot to say about the conditions that were against the National. I felt like the rug got pulled out from underneath me. That's the best way to describe what happened. Like somebody came in and dangled this carrot right in front of me and said, you're in for a US Open style Masters, folks. And Thursday absolutely delivered. Seeing those guys hit what they thought were perfect mid to long irons into what is it, 11 green. That just makes me so happy to see that ball just bound away. Like you shouldn't be going for it. You shouldn't be going for it. And number 15 as well. Like, why are you going for that? Lay up, have a short wedge into the green, and play it how the hole's been laid out. Yes, it's going to be a hard wedge shot, but you need to hit wedge to hold the green. What else are we talking about? Don't just say, oh, well, now we're going to water it down because guys are hitting balls into the green and they're not sticking. Fuck you. Pick a different club. You're the best golfers in the world, man. And you're telling me that you can't pivot your strategy to win the Masters because the greens are a little firm? There were still guys going out there shooting great scores. Like, I don't know. I was very frustrated to see the cannons come out, the water cannons coming, the hoses come out, and they just watered them down so much. And for a place that is supposed to have the number one agronomy technology in the world, potentially, that has every knob and adjustment at their whim. And what do they care if they kill the greens? You kill the greens, who cares? You're Augusta National. Nobody sees it. Nobody's going to talk about it the next week. The members aren't going to be like, I wasn't able to play my Monday round after the Masters because, they killed the greens. That wouldn't even be in a discussion. Number one, because there's got to be NDAs out the asshole, so nobody's going to hear about that. And number two, you're not going to see any pictures either coming from it because you're going to get kicked out of the club if you see any pictures. So they could have easily let the course play how it was the rest of the weekend like it was on Thursday, but they chose to water it down, and it's very frustrating. It could have been a completely different style of tournament this week, but you're right. It still did deliver because of the massive choke job that Rory had from Saturday to Sunday, and he almost blew it. It took a 6-shot lead going into the weekend for him to actually end up winning this golf tournament, which is unreal.
I have two things I want to touch on, kind of one from each of you. The first one is Rory. I think going back to last season and how we talked about him winning, he's going to go one of two ways. And obviously the first two rounds, all of us, I think a lot of us in the golf world were just like, the Masters is his. This is his tournament now. He's just going to come and unleash fury every single year, and he's just going to be a machine. But then Saturday happens, and you start wondering, well, is he in his own head? Is he not up to the challenge to be the reigning champion, and you have a 6-shot lead and just kind of coast your way in? I don't know. To me, he obviously was able to do it. But like on the flip side, shooting 12 under on a Thursday, Friday, the Masters, compared to Scotty shooting 11 under on the weekend, that's crazy talk to me. And I mean, you even have a couple other guys. What, Russell Henley was 10 under on the weekend. Trying to see who are like Colin Morikawa out of nowhere, 2 rounds of 68
from the clouds.
So
yeah, from the fucking
clouds. So when you look
Sure.
at that stuff, to me, especially in a major on the weekend, to me that's more impressive to have those kind of rounds on the weekend at majors. So I get he had a 6-shot lead, but I think it goes back to the other point kind of the conditions of it. Yes, his 67 on Thursday under those conditions were outrageous. You also had Sam Burns that shot 67. So like you said, Ian, there's people out there hitting those shots and shooting these low scores that are needed. But it kind of brings into question, like, if the conditions were the same as they were on Thursday and Friday, do you think Rory's lead would have grown more? Do you think he kind of thought on Saturday that, like, they water the greens, it's going to be a little more receptive to shots, I can go out there and be more aggressive? Whereas maybe he was playing a little bit more safe Thursday and Friday because of the conditions of the course. I don't know. I'm on your side, Ian. I wanted to see that chaos we saw on Thursday, but I also get on the flip side because I saw a comment somewhere that said they didn't want Augusta and the Masters turning into a U.S. Open style. They didn't want that much carnage, which I see, but I think all of us wanted in the golf world to see people suffer and see that, single digit under par win or even win the event. Because I think those are, we always talk about around majors, specifically the U.S. Open. We love seeing those kind of majors.
Even like 4 or 5 under. I'm not talking about not doable here, but I'm talking about like I would have even taken like a 6 or 7 under, which is what I was assuming from all of the discussions that I heard leading up, the interviews from even guys like Brandel Chambly. Like he thought it was going to be a really rough tournament beforehand, but having rounds 1, 2 under each day, or going even par and then going low, taking advantage of the par 5s, right? Or at least 2 or 3 of the par 5s to make those birdies and surviving the rest, I think is kind of Augusta National. Like you have to know when to risk versus play it safe. We talked about it in the last pod around defensive. It's the only tournament in the world that we talk about defensive putting, right? Like there's nowhere else that talks about, oh, you have to be defensive with this putt so that you don't 3-putt. Like no other place, no other tournament talks about that. So yeah, I don't know. I know that they were supposedly one of the interviewers actually in that, in one of the interviews I read on Golf Digest, where one of the volunteers was working the players locker room. They were chumming it up on Saturday and Sunday versus on Thursday and Friday. They looked like they had been through the ringer on Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday rolled around and guys were they were laughing, they were chuckling. They were just hamming it up in the locker room. So you know that the conditions got exponentially easier on the weekend if you go from quiet, no talk in the locker room to everybody's kind of enjoying themselves. I don't want them to enjoy themselves. I want the stress. I want to know that these guys have to try to make birdies. So
yeah, I think
maybe that's just me.
You brought up a good point about like strategy, and I think we were robbed of that this weekend a little bit because the first 2 days scores were all over the place, and there's a little bit more, should have been a little more strategy involved probably for a lot of golfers Thursday and Friday. But with the greens being watered down, like you said, you can be a little bit more aggressive on the weekend, and it showed in a lot of scores. But there's only a certain amount of tournaments every year for strategy. You can actually have a lot of strategy involved and actually make them think a lot more on every shot, where it's not just all right, driver, wedge, low iron, green, putt, next hole. Augusta is one of the few courses where there's going to be strategy, depending on the course conditions, especially if the greens have been firmer over the weekend. A lot different condition, a lot different playing strategy for everyone out there, right? Talking about the par fives, the long fours. There's going to be spots you absolutely don't want to miss ever, but when conditions are real firm, like it's an automatic penalty, right? Like you just have to take your medicine, even more so with firmer conditions. And yeah, we didn't really get that.
Didn't get it.
I was looking at some stats from this tournament. A couple I'll throw out here, which I don't think are too outlandish and probably more like understood. Number 11 lived up to the reputation. That was the hardest hole this week. It played average score of 4.38. Easiest hole in the course was number 2. Scoring average was 4.62. The field average for greens in regulation was 62.6%, which is about 4% lower than a typical PGA Tour stop. I think, again, kind of lives up to Augusta hype, just especially from Thursday's round, balls rolling everywhere. The one that was interesting to me was the average driving distance this year was just about 304 yards off the tee.
Yeah.
Did
certain
you see
people
what
hold
McIlroy's was?
Yeah, I was going to say certain people hold that average.
Yeah, I would want to know what Rory's was.
Take a guess.
It had to be in the 320s. 330? No way. 340?
Yeah, he's let me pull up the number again just to make sure.
Jesus.
But his stats for the overall, let's see, on driving distance, round 1, he averaged his longest drive his average was 341 on the first round. Average on round 2, 327. Round 3, 343. Round 4, 325.
That's absurd.
So even though he shot 73 on Sunday, he still was third in strokes gained because of how much farther he was hitting it off the tee than the rest of the field.
It was also impressive too that he was so inaccurate on Thursday, Friday too. He's just launching it into the woods and still dragging it that far. He's not really getting any roll from the fairways or anything. Which, I know that. It was so fun Thursday, Friday. My God, the Pine Straller. There was car path. It was just insane.
Yeah,
because we saw some of those bounds and bananas.
And talking to my pops, who one of those very lucky few who's actually played the course, he said that course there are so many points on each hole that if you can get it to, right, if you can reach it, you hit that speed slot, right? Now, number 10 is a good example of that. So you can really take advantage of it. It's most holes have a speed slot that you can hit, other than maybe number 3, which you're going straight uphill the entire way. But you're going to get, and somebody like Rory got to take advantage of that on a lot of those holes.
Well, kind of speaking of that goes back to, we talked about it last episode where we always see the same kind of names at the top of the leaderboard at Augusta just because of how familiar they are with the course. They know where to hit it. And I know a big thing that was kind of, put out into the
Controversial.
golf world was Rory talking about how he would drop Poppy off at school, private jet up to Augusta, play 18 holes, and then fly back and have dinner with them. I get why people are angry of just like, well, he's using this to his advantage and all that stuff.
I don't.
But I mean, I would do the same thing.
If you got it like that, I'd be doing the same shit.
Of course. And I was seeing a couple of, videos about it. And I think it was Kisner said, like, everyone has the same opportunity. Once you get that invite, like, you can just call up and ask, hey, can I come out and play? And I think to his point, he said, as long as you don't abuse it, you're fine. And they're trying to make it seem like Rory did that for like 4 weeks straight because they made the argument of, well, I don't like the last 3 tournaments before the Masters, so I just decided to go and, relax and practice and go up there a couple times. I see nothing wrong with it. If you have it to the opportunity to do it, go for it.
And you know what? You know what this showcases too? Exactly what we talked about, 2-3 episodes ago around why the season is about to get axed. Like a third of the season is about to lose their tournament licenses. If a guy like Rory's saying, I don't really like those 2 or 3 tournaments leading up to the Masters, you got to at least cut one tournament before the Masters so that you give everybody that same flexibility to either relax or go play at a place that they believe is going to have them the best chance at producing a high result for them at Augusta or at whatever major it is. I mean, he kind of is digging the hole for the PGA right now and saying, look, the guys don't want to play this many tournaments a year, and the majors, whether they like it or not, the majors mean a lot more to a lot of the guys nowadays than they used to. But yeah, him saying that he sees Augusta National as a home course now, if you got it like that, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
This is all fake outrage to me. Sorry. Everyone has it's been said, everyone has the same. Once you get the invite, you get the same amount of practice round opportunities, especially if you know you're going to go. You're in the top, you're like solidify the top 50 in the world, and you're going to get that invite. You can plan it out. Now, is this maybe like a teeny tiny disadvantage to people who don't know if they're getting in or not because they're, they haven't won yet or they're not in the top 50? Like, yeah, but that's a handful of people. Most people know they're going to go, past champions, top 50. You can plan it out. Michael Kim went on Twitter, who was at the Masters this week, and he was like, yeah, I could have played it more, could have done more practice rounds in if I wanted to. I could have made that effort to get there and to play it, but I didn't. I was working on my game elsewhere, at home, other tournaments, whatever. So the fact that he's in that group that like kind of got like more of a last minute invite, snuck into the top 50 last year, like at the end of last year. So of all the people who could be complaining, he could be in that small fraction who could complain about this and maybe have like 1% like legitimate complaint, but he's not even complaining about it. This is all BS. This is all people crying for no reason. Like, yeah, guess what? He has a private jet because he's been doing this for like 15 years at a really high rate. He won the damn thing last year. When you win the Nino, you get certain privileges. Sorry. If you really want to like win more, win the Masters, like this is all just people complain about people, who have done better than they have. I don't know if they're jealous or what, but shut up.
Well, a couple of names I'd like to call out, and then we can move on if we want. But I'd like to make a shout out to number one, Terrell Hatton. Speaking of guys that you just, for a guy who says that he fucking hates this golf course, man, does he shine. Just looking at some of his stats on the week, and he's strictly average on driving distance, but he beat the field by 10% at 82% fairways hit versus 72%. And greens hit, he beat the field by close to 10% as well at 71% versus 63%, with a second round of 18 out of 18 greens hit, which Hasn't happened in like 40 years. So like what an outstanding performance from a guy who's not even on the PGA Tour anymore. Wouldn't be able to come back. He hasn't won a major. So if he doesn't play his way in, he's not coming back, but he somehow always seems to find his way to play into this, to play in and get invited the next year.
You think top 12 finishers auto invite back. So he made the top 12, so he'll be back next year.
And then other guy, let's give a round of applause for my new favorite, Hao Tong Lee. What?
Has the shits and still competes.
Oh God! Just after that, I mean, how can you not love the guy? Like, man, just walking around, just looking like a big oaf. Outscoring the field, hit 72% of the greens in his first round versus 58% versus the field. What is it? Round four, he hit 80% of the fairways versus the field at 70%. So, yeah, he had some. He didn't quite finish the way that I think he would have liked to. With some epic scores on 12 and 13, with a triple on 12 and quintuplet. Is that what it is?
Whatever a 10 is, on a par 5.
A 10 on number 13.
He had a Cinco de Mayo on fucking on 13.
Dude. Was it Saturday that he topped his shot on 15?
I think so.
Was that Saturday's round?
Yeah. Let's see.
He may have been the number one roller coaster of the whole tournament. Just the best one of the best rounds, and then yesterday, tinfoil cap 13. He hit that drive, and does a bear shit in the woods. Does Hao Tong Lee shit in the woods? He spent an awful lot of time there.
He may have.
He may have, and we lost him at one point.
He might have shit his pants.
At one point, he disappeared off screen. One of the shots, someone screenshot it, and they were like recapping because it was like the first one he hit out of the woods, and it didn't go anywhere. And then the camera zoomed out, and that was so fucking good. And then the next one, it rolled down into that bush, and he disappeared from the frame. And he got his next shot, like you just didn't see him. Like he's just gone. Someone just put like a red circle in there, like he's here in the bushes. And he finally gets it on the green, and the poor guy puts it into the creek. And I have to find the clip, but it was as soon as he put it, he's playing with Scotty. Ted immediately got to like the hole and was like facing Scotty's putt, and then the ball was just rolling. Like I don't think Ted had any idea how close he was. The putt like rolled right behind him into the creek, and I was like, dude, it's gonna hit you, Ted. Like that putt's not stopping. I don't know if you thought the ball was just gonna like stop, but it was like, and they just didn't even say anything. Like Scotty didn't even like watch the ball. Like it kept going, and the camera was right behind Scotty. He's just looking straight at Ted, like reading the putt the whole time. And meanwhile, it's just like a critter running across them. And then I just see Hao Tong, he just goes, too funny. I think it took him 40 minutes to finish that hole. No joke. Yeah,
that's wild.
And like I applaud him for always wanting to get after it, but that's one of those you take the penalty drop. Take the penalty drop, get back into the fairway. It's a par 5, man. You've got the ability to make it up and make bogey at max, as Nicholas says. Don't make as many fucking double bogeys. So, but yeah, those were my two shout outs, and maybe an honorary mention to Jake Knapp for playing his way into an automatic bid for next year as well. So,
I was going to say, Jake Knapp is on an absolute tear this year.
I love it.
It's good to see. It's good to see.
Doing everything but winning. He's tearing up the top 10s. He's going to get there.
He will. I think his one of the stats that I heard I think Nance call out was that he was number one in putting on the tour outside of 25 feet.
His putting stats are crazy this year. Kind of out of nowhere. Yeah. He's doing really well.
Yep. Keep it up. So,
well, before we get into our this or that segment again, there's two names that I want to throw out there. They're not honorable mention. They're not round of applause. They're, what the fuck happened?
Man, here we go.
First off, Bobby Mack. I mean, did he even play golf?
No, he was too busy making bobbleheads.
This is his summation of the 2 days. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
so yeah, I don't know.
Goodness. The other one, when we were texting our group of Shane's pool, and I threw out there, all my guys are going to make the cut. Little did I know that Akshay wanted to go and shoot a 44 on the back 9 on Friday and missed the cut. Didn't want to tell me that. What are you doing, man?
It was a tough one.
It was a tough look. Very tough look. You want to talk about a tough look? Shane Lowry bogeying number 18 to lose me that pool.
That is a tough look.
He just had to make a 5-footer.
However,
that's it.
He helped you because he did get an ace on number 6.
He did. He did get an ace on number 6. Just needed him not to fuck up, but
that's true.
It is what it is.
And I guess we should say one more honorable mention of ultimate rage battle of Sergio.
Yes. Kick him out. Kick him out. Kick him out, dude.
People were talking about that, like legitimately, that he's going to lose his membership. And I was like, I don't know. Fine him. I don't know what you can do. I don't even know what the rules are.
Do anything that serious, but
yeah.
Let me ask you this. When was the last time you saw a player at the Masters do anything close to that other than the amateur who pissed in Ray's Creek?
Last year.
What was
Bobby
his name?
Mack flipping off everyone.
No, that's nowhere close. He wasn't flipping off everyone. He was flipping off the ball, but yeah.
Well, I saw a comment about it that he had an interview after his round, and it was like, this is just a guy that understands he has lifetime entry into the Masters because he won, and he has a stupid amount of money, so he doesn't give a shit what happens. And I think to your point, they're not going to kick him out. They're not going to revoke his playing abilities. They're just going to probably fine him, a little slap on the wrist, and have at it.
He was bold for going after the tee marker, though. It's fucked up, man.
Yeah,
it's hallowed ground.
I would have been okay if he would have just stepped on his driver. If you're gonna do it, step on the hosel, break it. Don't go after what'd that cooler ever do to him?
Nope. That's some Wyndham Clark shit right there.
Yeah.
That is some Wyndham Clark shit. Now, Wyndham would get thrown out. He should get tossed off.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, he did play pretty well this week, but
we're not talking about that.
And so did Jordan Spieth, but we're not talking about that.
I have a couple of comments. I don't even want to be shout outs. Surprise, speaking of people playing well, Max Homa, giant backdoor top 10 for him. Out of nowhere.
Huge.
But he finished top 10
from the
finished top 10 last year, right?
Yeah, but he hasn't played well in forever. I mean, he has a couple of good finishes here, but so good for him. And then the curse of the 67 strikes again. Mr. Bryson DeChambeau. He needs to, it's not really a formal apology. He needs to go, he needs to do something drastic where, there's smoke and incense and something. Yeah,
go find a shaman.
Yeah, there's got to be something where he, does something very humbling or degrading to himself to just be like, I'm really sorry about that comment. That's the stupidest thing I possibly could have said. And if anyone at the Masters to make a comment about that course, it's one of one. It's 1A, it's 1B, it's 1C. It's the stupidest thing anyone's ever said about that course. And I just think he needs a drastic 180, come to Golf God Jesus or something to even get a sniff of winning that tournament again, because he'll never win it. Simple apology is not enough. It's, I don't know if he's got to, caddy 100 rounds for Fred Ridley or different members at Augusta, or, do some sort of pledge stuff at the course. I mean, there's got to be a big reckoning for him. Because, man, did he get humbled real quick this weekend. And also John Rahm too. Not good. Barely made the cut, but could never
That's all you got to say. Not good.
Couldn't get anything going. Yeah, just not good. Not good, man. Thought you liked this place.
What was but before we move on, what was the the tweet that I sent over to you guys in the group chat. It was like at one point, the players that were on the Champions Tour were better and playing better than those that were on Live.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to, we're not going to get into it now, but it's a debate to have for another time. It goes back into Liv isn't preparing these guys, and they haven't been. So, again, goodbye. We don't care.
Terrell Hatton's got to figure it out. I don't know what the fuck
Sure does.
everybody else is doing, but
that's their guy. He's carrying the flag.
All right. I have two kind of this or that's. One, I kind of put together myself. One, I kind of took pieces from another one. But the first one I'll throw at you guys is, which holes would you rather play at Augusta? There's 2 packs of 3s. Would you rather play 11, 15, and 16? Or would you rather play 12, 13, and 18?
12, 13, 18.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go 12, 13, 18 too. Yeah, 12 is the most famous hole on that course. And then 13 is probably the easiest. It's the easiest par 5 on the back. And 18, you got to see if you can
arguably one of the most fun drives, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and 18, you got to see
flare your drive right. Yeah.
18, you got to see if you can make it through the chute. So, yeah.
And you just get to, and that was going to be my point too, John, was you get to walk up 18 at Augusta National. Like that for me by itself. Yes, I know I would love to hit with like a Sunday pin placement on 16 would be epic.
That was kind of why I was leaning towards like that 16 pin placement.
I do agree that 16 with that Sunday pin placement would be incredible. But like I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the idea of being able to walk up 18. That I don't care where my drive goes because I'm gonna be like, I don't even need to play it. Honestly, I could just walk. I just walk up the fairway.
Well, if your drive goes way right like Rory, you probably won't walk up the fairway. You'll walk up the trees.
I'll drop one. I'll drop one in the middle of the fairway.
Found it.
I'm not that far right.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
And I wasn't that far right. Yeah.
I'll have to change my
hands on my golf ball. That's fine. Call back.
All right. The other one, which I think was kind of interesting, you can either play Augusta, play around 18 holes with 3 guys of your choosing, Sunday pins, Masters conditions, or you can attend the Champions Dinner.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Yeah. That I thought, I was like, what can I put up against it? And that's what I came with.
That would be pretty epic. Dinner.
Attending the Champions Dinner means that you've won the Masters. So
no, I'm just saying,
that's
just
what
go
I'm
to the
going
dinner.
with. That's what I'm going with, Eric. I'm going with the Champions Dinner. I've won the Masters. I get to wear the green jacket. I'm there.
I forgot I have to lay it all out for you.
That's on you, Eric.
It's a really good question. John, go ahead. You go first.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is assuming that like everyone who's won the Masters is there. Like obviously Tiger wasn't there this year. That's assuming Tiger's there. Phil, like everyone who's won it is alive. You normally is alive. Nah, fuck it. I'm taking the round.
I'm taking the round.
I'm playing with my 3 boys.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Do I actually? Let me ask you this, Eric. Am I in the Champions Dinner picture at the end?
Nope, you're just there to eat the food and talk with people. You did not win the Masters. You don't have a green jacket.
Yeah, you're not wearing a jacket. You're wearing a white shirt and tie, but no jacket. Yeah.
And I'm playing Augusta National then. Yeah.
That would be interesting though. Just being in the room, like you talk about getting goosebumps walking up 18, like just to be in that room with all of those former champions.
What would you have to talk about? You've never played Augusta National though.
It doesn't matter.
Stocks, crypto,
stocks, bonds.
If there was one person in that
plastics,
one person at that Champions Dinner, they would love to play around with. Take off Tiger, take off Scotty.
I don't even think I'd pick Scotty, honestly. I think Scotty would be, no offense to Scotty. Like, Scotty Scheffler is a great man. I know he's one of the nicest human beings in the world. Still can't believe he got arrested for whatever. I don't think I'd choose it. Like, there are just so many. Shit, man. I might go with somebody like Freddie Couples. Like
Damn it.
That's who I'm picking. I love Freddie.
Like honestly, I think that would be just the amount of stories that I've heard that guy has about not only himself but also just other guys on tour. I think that's who I'd probably go with.
Yeah, that's what I was going. Damn it. Yeah, that's
right. We can all go play a round of Augusta with Freddie. It's fine.
Yeah,
we'll get us on.
Yeah,
or Jim Nance. I know he's not one, but I would take Jim Nance too. He's a member. He'd be fun.
He's just a member. Yeah, he could just take you.
Yeah,
it's true.
I play with Jim.
All right. Well, now that the fun of Augusta is over, we can move on to another signature event. I feel like I'm saying this every week at this point. RBC Heritage.
JT won last year, right? Or was it Fitzy?
Last year was JT.
Yeah. Okay, Fitzy was the year before.
That was one of his. Yeah, it was one of his comeback.
JT wins. Won the playoff. Actually, do you remember who?
Was it Cantley?
Was not. It was a name you probably won't remember.
It was a signature event. It was a signature event last year. So, did you get Bridgman?
No, but kind of in that realm. Andrew
Novak.
Okay. You know, he was the guy who was bitching about the greens being different speeds from Friday to Saturday. He said that's why he had so many 3 putts.
Wow.
You don't have enough people to back you on that because there were quite a few low scores on Saturday to say otherwise.
Sorry, dude.
And while I'm not giving him shit for not playing this week, because I understand he just won the Masters, go celebrate. Rory's not playing in another signature event, which I also think is something I am saying all the time now too.
There's not a rule that gives him an excuse not to play in a signature event if they win the week before, right? It's only one a year, right?
Yeah, you'd skip
but
one.
Wasn't it last year that he didn't play in like 2 or 3 of them?
Yeah, that's
correct. But that was because he was not healthy.
Which you just disqualify yourself from a bonus at the end of the year. Why do I need $10 million? I already have $10 million.
Got to fund his private jets to Augusta next year.
It's true.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, not much to say about the RBC Heritage. It's a great event every year. Yeah, the lighthouse is cool. The finishing hole is cool. It's a very tight golf course. I think last year I had Cantley as my pick, which I think he ended up. I don't know what are the conditions supposed to be this week. It's supposed to be windy.
I'm sure. I also feel like Harbortown is kind of like an underrated tour stop. I feel like there's so many other tour stops that like get praise and all the publicity, but Harbortown's a solid one. Like that's top 10 that I want to play.
Well, I love the jacket that they get at the end. It's a dope jacket.
Yeah, don't get a green one the week before, but here's a checkered one.
There's a lot of tournaments with jackets. It's kind of funny. Arnold Palmer, you get one. This one, did you get one at Waste? Or am I making that up? I don't know if the Waste has one.
No, I think Bay Hill, Memorial.
Yeah. Memorial, yeah. The Greenbrier used to, I think. Shout out to Greenbrier, RIP.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then obviously the Masters. I don't know if there are any other ones though, John. It's a good question. Let's see here.
Oh, copycats.
Which PGA tournaments give jackets to?
Do a lot of them give jackets? I feel like it was only those 2.
No, Memorial gives jackets too, right?
It's like it might be a gold one.
No, it's the RBC Heritage.
Arnold Palmer,
that's what I said. Bay Hill. Yep. But it's a red cardigan. But a cardigan's a jacket, right? Charles Schwab Challenge.
That's right.
It's a colonial plaid jacket.
Nice.
And actually, John, I take it back. You are right. The Phoenix Waste Management Open, Weenix gets a black jacket. It's awarded to the champion.
There you go. The more you know.
You nailed it. And then
don't want to waste that opportunity.
And then at some point in the past, Wells Fargo champions have also received a navy blue jacket, but it says past champions. I don't think they actually do it anymore.
Nice.
Grand Slam of golf. No. The European Masters, not real. Nope, nothing else. Nothing else.
All right, let's get into it. Try bet. Who's leading us off?
All right, here's what we're gonna do.
Ian's not
We're
ready.
just gonna
I'm not
we're just
ready.
gonna go
I'm
pick.
not ready.
We don't need a. We're just gonna go pick and go. Don't even need a bio or why we want to win because who cares? We we
doesn't
just need to switch
matter.
it up. All right, 1, 2, 3. Sam Burns.
I'm going. This is tough.
Anytime.
Yeah. Fuck off.
All right, I'll go then.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Hold on. I got it.
Oh, God.
I'm going to go Jake Knapp.
Okay. I am going with
First.
JT.
JT. Plus 125. Justin Thomas.
Won last year. Let's keep the back-to-backs going.
All right.
Fingers crossed.
This might be the lowest odds we've had in the history of the Tribe Bet.
6-1?
8-1.
8-1.
Sure. So, yeah, I was gonna say it's a limited field. Zero cut this
I could
weekend.
throw Scotty Scheffler in there.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. We've seen what happens when you do
So we
that.
got Sam Burns, we got Napper, and we got...
Yeah.
This could start us off. This could...
There's an end of round 1 top 10 finish for Cam Young at plus 280 that is kind of tempting.
I'm staying away from some of those guys that finished in top. They're going to be hungover from last week.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Could be. Yeah.
Goddard have played well too.
Which is why I had my eyes all the way down the list at one point. Tony Finau.
Tony Finau.
Tony Finau is almost 4-1 to finish in the top 20.
Damn. Yeah, I like him this week.
Gary Woodland is 3-1.
Really?
Max Homa is plus 260.
Interesting. Gary Woodland at plus 300 is...
It's
tempting.
surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, our team's out there. We got it. Our squad's out
It
there.
is. It's out there.
We're in. No take backsies.
Everyone better jump on board because this one is going to hit.
This one's gonna hit.
It's going to hit. It's going to hit.
It's gonna hit.
Agreed.
All right, before we sign off, me and John are playing, what is this, our fourth Strands course on Sunday.
Third.
Love that.
So we're playing Stonehouse in the Williamsburg, Virginia area with our two buddies, brothers, Shane and Chris Kiernan, who were also on our Outer Banks trip a couple weeks ago.
Appreciate you paying out, Shane. That was nice of you. Very prompt
Shane
payment. So
ran a great pool. Always updating those spreadsheets for us.
Mm-hmm. Very fast. Very fast.
So looking forward to the U.S. Open one he's going to run.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Might have to get a collective tribe team on there.
That. I like that idea.
Okay.
Especially if he runs it the same way with the point system.
Oh,
Such a unique way to do it, where higher odds guys cost more than the lower odds. It's interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it works. It's a good pool.
Yes, it does.
It did work.
I would like to call out on that front too. The lineup that won second place in this was AI generated. That was AI supported, slightly augmented. Originally, it had Cam Smith in the lineup, but I pulled out Smith for Rory.
Wisely.
So he, the name of that lineup that originally AI spit out, Bethpage Massacre Ryder Cup edition. So that was sad, but it was a solid lineup.
It was a solid lineup.
I mean, it's fucking solid. It's a fucking solid lineup.
It worked. Yeah, it worked.
If it fits the chips, and it made me a little bit of dinero, so can't complain.
It's all you can ask for.
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT.
All right, well, another round of the books. Thanks for hanging out with the tribe. Remember, if you enjoyed the show, make sure to subscribe and to share it. And until next time, keep it in the short grass. Keep the drinks cold, and as always, go Noles.
Go Noles.